The following podcast is a W2M Network original production. Visit W2Mnet.com for all of our other great podcasts, plus news, reviews, articles, and opinions from the worlds of wrestling, video games, football, and entertainment.
What time is it?
There is nobody that holds a candle to the king.
You know, I wouldn't be opposed to, maybe you build some tag teams here.
We are the absolute best tag team of all time, bar none, the greatest tag team of all time.
Jay White's going to be a star, no matter where he goes.
I'm going to be the guy that spits in the face of cliches. I'm going to be the guy that tells time to off.
Man, what in the world is Joe doing? Just standing. And then I thought to myself, maybe he just likes Jericho's music as much as I do.
Are you at all worried that Sasha's victory in your tag team match tonight might be foreshadowing what's going to happen in your championship match on Sunday at Great Balls of Fire?
Really? That's your question? Wow. No, I'm not worried. Why don't you consider the fact that I let Sasha win, giving her a false sense of security? It's called strategy, Charlie, and it's smart. Winning requires strength as well as intelligence.
I'm sorry, but I don't think anyone actually believes you strategically let Sasha win tonight.
Well, no one cares what you think. That's why you're holding a microphone and I'm holding the Raw Women's Championship. And I'll still be holding it after Sunday.
Ladies and gentlemen, wrestling to the max.
And your hosts, Gary Vaughan, Sean Garmer, and Paul Leazar.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Wrestling to the Max, episode 254, part 1. And we are brought to you by W2Mnet.com as well as 411mania.com. Don't forget to go subscribe if you haven't already, wherever you get podcasts at Wrestling to the Max. Hey, and if you love everything over there at the W2Mnet.com family, go check out the W2M Network. Also, another great place to go subscribe, rate, and review. Trust me, lots of great content coming out of there. I, of course, want to let you guys also know that YouTube is another place you can find us. If you don't know that already, go ahead and go on YouTube and subscribe at our Wrestling to the Max channel. That'll get you all our great content in one nice place. Just to let you know that information. I am your host, Gary Vaughan. Along with me is Mr. Sean Garmer.
What's up, everybody?
And Mr. Paul Leazar.
Hey-o.
And if you guys haven't realized, I am a little hoarse tonight. I have lost my voice. I thought I had saw a guy by the name of Ken Shamrock at the grocery store. It was not him. I got a little embarrassed. But lost my voice screaming and cheering like a lady, which is fine if you have that high pitch. I don't really have that high pitch, and that's why I sound like this. So that's not true. I lost my voice, and I'm still trying to find it. I don't know what happened. So if anyone finds out, me and Pentagon Jr. will be looking for that guy. But anyway, we'll talk more about that in quick hits.
You sound okay right now, though. So
well, thank God, because good. If you listen to the Raw review, which, I was glad I was able to make it to the Raw review tonight. Me and Paul were trying to kick that out, and we really had a great time talking about Monday Night Raw. But I think by the end of it, I was like, I just really felt like that. So hopefully it wasn't unbearable to you listeners, and hopefully you guys get to enjoy a great go-home show to talk about. So go check that Raw review out. But anyway, guys, we have a lot to talk about tonight. I am very excited. Lots of great stuff when it comes to the G1 tournament here in the USA. That's right. They had a great showing this week in the USA, and we are going to be talking about both nights. of the G1 and all that encompassed when it comes to that. So you want to stay tuned and listen for that. Plus, we are going to be talking lots of quick hits, lots of interesting information going down in the world of wrestling. A major promotion changed their name. You'll want to find out who that was and a lot more when it comes to our wrestling news. We're also going to be talking Slammiversary. That's right. It happened this past weekend. Sunday night, it went down. Sadly, Paul and I have not got the opportunity to watch it. Paul has been watching a lot of New Japan, has had a lot of stuff going on in his plate, and I get it. I personally was busy with family stuff, missed out, but Sean did not. Sean is going to give you all the information about Slammiversary, break it down, tell you what he thought about it. We're not going to make you wait till Thursday, folks. We're going to give it to you tonight. Very excited about that. Plus, we're also going to be talking Ring of Honor. Can't wait for that as well. Lots of stuff going on over there in that promotion as well. So we have got some cool stuff to go, guys. I don't want to delay us any further. So why don't we go ahead and do it? Let's go ahead and jump into some of those wrestling news topics and go ahead and get into some quick hits right after this.
It's time for wrestling news. Quick hits.
Take it away, Gary.
All right. Well, we're going to start this thing off sad because we have to start off with the sad things. And let's talk really quickly about Smith Hart passing away. Now, sadly, we did mention that he was in stage 4 of his cancer, and that pretty much kind of gave us a clue that this would happen. But still, it doesn't take away all the sadness of it. He was 68 years old. That's still, too soon. And, really feeling, sad for the Hart family. He battled prostate cancer and, has lost his battle. I mean, Paul, this is a guy that may not be the biggest name out of the Hart family, but it's still sad.
It's also the eldest out of the brothers. I know he had some hands in helping promote the revival of Stampede Wrestling that took place for the short amount of time that happened. And also had a hand in training a lot of people recently. From about the mid-2000s going forward. So still somebody who gave a lot to the business. And you're right, maybe not as famous, but still equally as sad, right? I mean, a lot of people said Smith was a little hard to deal with at times. But, it's another loss for that family and one I'm sure they're grieving pretty hard right now.
Yeah, it always sucks for this to be happening. You never want to lose somebody, it's the same thing like the Matt Capitelli thing earlier, right? That we talked about on the Thursday, Friday show. It's just, these things go in remission, they come back. He happened to get to stage 4. Prostate cancer is one of these in men that's just, it really affects us, Mm-hmm. So it's just sad that this happened.
Yeah, very sad, and you don't like to hear this. And, I think, he dealt with a lot, and I think also he wanted to be known, and, for people to know that the entire Hart family had a lot to do with, not only what happened in Canada and everything that they did, which was a success at times, but he let it be known he wanted to be a part of the WB Hall of Fame. And so that didn't take place for him, but that was a big deal for him. I remember him being pretty serious about that and really standing on his ground that the whole Hart family should be a part of it. I think, we kind of saw the same thing when, Lanny Poffo did that whole thing. Of course, sadly, sometimes when guys do pass away, it just doesn't work out that way. So, I don't know. Sadly for Smith, he'll never know. Hopefully, though, his family is comforted, and I really hope the best for the Hart family. This is just not good news, and our hearts, wishes, and prayers go out to those folks. Let's talk about some really happy news now, since we had to kind of bring the mood down. We're going to take it right back up.
Hold on.
Go ahead.
Don't we want to just finish the other sad news, too?
You want to talk about the murder case?
No, not that. Your man, he's going to be out till 2018.
I was hoping to delay that. I was hoping we'd forget about that. I was kind of not going to speak that into existence, but we'll talk about it because, oh my God. My man Tommaso Ciampa is not going to be back until March of 2018. Oh my God, this just hurts, guys. I mean, Sean, you know how much I love this guy. This is a bummer, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Super hot feud, right, Sean?
Yeah, that was just such a great turn, and then we might see him get to. I think he does appear on these tapings somewhere to kind of explain things, and then that's just we're done. Like, it's just it sucks.
God, man. Oh.
Yeah.
What were we gonna do, Paul?
We're gonna cry about it, Gary. We'll cry about it together. We'll throw a big depressing party. We'll invite people over, and we'll just fill up buckets full of tears because March of 2018 is just too darn long for them to have to wait to touch on Ciampa and Gargano. I mean, for all we know, Gargano might get called up before he comes back. So hopefully he kicks ass in rehab. Hopefully he comes back sooner. Maybe they can find a way to transplant Cena's super healing gene into his body. I don't know. Black magic. Let's not sell that out. Let's just hope this guy comes back sooner.
Yeah, we've seen Adrian Peterson come back from a torn ACL really fast, so you never know.
Yeah, and that was a great season following his torn ACL for him. So hopefully Tommaso Ciampa can kind of take a page out of Adrian Peterson's book. Hey, Paul just mentioned Black Magic. I'm calling Aleister Black right after this podcast is over. Let's get this stuff going, man. Let's make this happen for Tommaso Ciampa. So. But it's just terrible, terrible news. But let's talk about something that will hopefully lift all of our hearts, and I think this will lift at least us up, and that is the fact that New Japan will be back in the United States of America in 2018. Yeah, that's right. They're coming back, and that's really awesome and really good. And I think the success that they had this past weekend really showed them that there is a need for them to have some shows here in the States, and that there is a fan following here for them. This is really, really cool. I am so happy about this, Paul.
Yeah, they blew through ticket sales for this 2,000 seat arena, and they even overpacked it. They were at 2,300 strong both nights. Pushed almost 5,000 people. Nothing but an unqualified success was this G1 special in the USA, and as far as attendance and intrigue and all that, they were trending on Twitter in the U.S. and Canada, almost worldwide trending. It was insane how much coverage this got. We'll talk about production and all that later, but hopefully they do more shows in the U.S. Hopefully they decide to get a little bit outside L.A. I'll try to see if I can maybe tempt some more of that black magic to get them to come to Dallas, but I might have to fly out next time this year.
Cody did mention that they should go do some of the A cities, and he mentioned Miami, so if he does, I will be finding a ticket somewhere.
Yeah. I'm just going to mention to, New Japan, say, hey, Toyota moved to Dallas from, California for a reason. So maybe you should move your New Japan shows to Dallas for that exact same reason. And trust me, they have an amazing Japanese market here now, too, because of that move. So all those Japanese wrestlers will fit in just perfectly. DFW is a huge airport. You can fly all around the world. You can fly right into DFW and just feel as comfortable as can be. So, yeah. So let's hopefully sell them on that. And in Miami, too. We'll get Sean in 2019, 2020, but Dallas is 2018. So.
We have tons of mid-level venues for you to use, New Japan. Hint, hint.
Yes, I'll even give you my backyard, whatever you want to use. just come, okay? I just want Naito rummaging through my house and through my stuff. That's what I want. And he can throw all my stuff in the river. I don't care.
I would love to watch him play with Lily and just to see the look on your child's face.
Terrified at Daddy's just smiling. Yes. Oh, my wife. She may kill me. So
yeah, that's fair.
Yeah.
But no, and honestly, Sean, this is really cool, and I think that this is something that they wanted to test it out, and I think that their test went very well. And this could mean hopefully more than just once a year. Maybe they'll give a shot to maybe doing 2 shows a year or something like that in the United States.
Yeah, I think what it is right now they don't want to do too much too fast. I think we also got to remember they do come over here for ROH shows, so it's not like they just never come here. And this was so funny about like some of the stuff on Twitter when they were having this conversation about like, oh well, if New Japan was so big, like they would be having shows here all the time, and like what are people going to do now? They can't. They can keep watching it on Access, but how are they going to keep up with the show and whatever? It's just like, look, they do have a U.S. presence here outside of what you saw on this show. You just kind of got to seek it out a little bit. If you liked it, like you got to do with, various other things that you like, you might have to do a little bit of research. It don't hurt you. It's not right out there front and center like it is with WWE because they're everywhere. But if you do a little bit of research, you can find the New Japan World exists. You can find that they have English commentary for most of their big shows. Access is pretty much cut up now, so I'm going to be very interested to see how they do that going forward. Because I don't think they've ever had that happen. In the U.S., they never had that where the show was basically right there along with, what you see on New Japan World every week. Mm-hmm. And just... hopefully they do more going forward, but I think we got to just temper expectations here because they also don't want to like do so much and then people forget that their number one thing is Japan, and that's always how it's going to be until they feel like they have enough here where they can run two things at once. Then we might see them here more regularly.
Yeah, for sure. And that's a good point. And, we'll have to kind of see what they do decide and kind of follow their plan of action. And for the fact that Sean just did mention, these guys are not just here once a year. They are here more than that. So New Japan also wants to make sure that they're smart and they understand that, hey, we're going to support our, audience at home. We're not going to just completely sell out and just try to move over to the U.S. We're going to take care of our home first and, give the U.S. some love here and there. So I get that completely.
Yeah, this is an expansion, not a takeover or whatever,
Right. Yeah, exactly. So... but yeah, that's great news, and we're really happy about that for New Japan and for the United States especially. This is really cool that they are going to be back. Let's talk about another promotion, and a promotion that we're all kind of curious how their future is going to be. We now have some things that are placed and in concrete that are exciting for them, and there's a lot of things that they're trying to work out, and that is, of course, Impact Wrestling. Oh, wait a minute. They changed their name. It is now Global Force Wrestling. That's right. There is no more Impact Wrestling. That is over with. Now you finally have what Jeff Jarrett has always wanted, and that is GFW being on television. They are going to now take over all the Impact stuff and be GFW on TV. I have no idea if they're going to actually name their TV programming, just keep it Impact, or if they're going to name it Amped, because Amped was what they were going to...
No, it's going to be called Impact Wrestling.
Okay, so the TV show isn't changing.
Okay, so there you go. There's the news right there. I wasn't sure if they had figured that out or not. And I'm going to wrap... Mm-hmm.
It's just the company is called GFW, and in fact, they wouldn't even change the logo. They just removed Impact and switched and put GFW in that spot. Right. So the logo looks almost exactly the same.
Wow. See, there you go. That's awesome. So at least it wasn't too overwhelming. And for the fact that there's a lot involved here, at least, Impact is now a TV brand, and it's not all about the company name. It's kind of like, Monday Night Raw, right? It's not the name of the company. It's just the name of the TV show. So at least it's a better name than Amped. I never did like the Amped name. But if you want to watch Amped tapings, guys, you can get Amped on one night only shows. That's right. They'll be giving those out and selling you on buying those. So they're not going to go into waste. You can still get a chance to watch those Amped tapings. And, we're getting also some information that, Jeff Jarrett has a 5-year plan in place, and he wants to be live and, and doing more shows live than just, once a month or something like that live, and the rest are all taped. So he's got a plan in action. I don't know. Sean, after seeing all this news come out and all the changes they're making and the future things they want to happen, what's your thoughts overall about what's going on here?
Well, for one, GFW has just as bad cachet as Impact Wrestling does. So I don't know that the name really does anything. Let's not forget that Jeff Jarrett did a press conference for GFW with a room of nobody in it. So, trying to get GFW going. I'm glad that they're putting those tapings out. Lots of, current WWE guys, so they can surely sell you on that. If you want to watch, Gallows Anderson, TJP, the Singh brothers, Singh brothers getting to wear gold. There's this Jeff Jarrett's got to be the best con man that there is of how he gets himself back into the TNA. They change the name, and it's all a big ruse so that he can eventually wind up getting GFW, be replacing everything, and they get their own TV deal only because they changed the name of another company. But, hey, look, it's benefiting them, as you'll see when we talk about Slammiversary. But it's just, I don't know that this name is really that much better than Impact. And, whatever works for... At least the whole, merging everything kind of means something now, but just, yeah.
I won't say this is like a life-changing thing for what's happening over there at TNA/Impact Wrestling/Global Force Wrestling. I will say that Global Force Wrestling has far less damage done to its name than Impact and TNA have, for sure. And one could argue that Jeff Jarrett certainly was in charge during TNA's most popular time frame and got them to a place where they are now. Well, not right now, but got them to their most successful place and had them in a pretty decent spot for a while, and then it sort of all collapsed on itself once he left, and you had Dixie and that whole regime. So, it's just sort of come full circle for him, which I'm happy for him. I think... if a lot of what he wanted to do originally with GFW can still come to pass with all this, then he might be in for a fun ride of success because, international wrestling's never been more popular, and if you can bring in names and turn them into something, then hats off to you for sure. But I don't know. So far, just going up and down what's going on at Slammiversary and reading Impact stuff, and it still seems the same. So I don't know if this is really going to change anything worth noting. Supposedly Anthem, though, is getting new championships for the merger. So maybe you won't have to stare at lime green for 2 hours a week.
Well, they still had the sort of same colors during Slammiversary when they were doing the unification title matches. So I don't know. That's good that they're getting new belts, right? You only need to really have one belt for whatever the company is going to be called. Just I hope he gets to complete this 5-year plan, and it's not something that Anthem winds up regretting in a year or something like that. But just, hey, let's see how this goes.
Yeah, and I don't think their deal with Pop TV is it 5 years? I didn't think it was that long. So
yeah, they're kind of stuck on Pop for at least another year.
Yeah, but stuck on Pop. The question is Pop want them stuck on them? That's the question.
Well, yeah, because they're not paying anything for them, and they're giving them free ratings, basically. Why wouldn't you?
Well, you never know. Playing as good as it gets at that time slot may, do just as well. Or ER or so, and all that other stuff. And not saying to be ugly, I'm just saying it makes you wonder, what's going to be happening with that. But, in the long run, I don't want it to be bad for those guys. I would like to see them do well. I really do, because it's nice to have another option. It's also kind of great to have guys like EC3 and guys that may not, get opportunities sometimes at other companies to have a big platform, to have something that they can really showcase as their own. own. That's great news. That's good stuff, and it really helps wrestling overall to have that. So I want that to be in place, but I have a little bit of fear. And, talking about the new titles, I mean, that's great that they're going to do new titles. I just worry that, the title's going to be shaped in like an owl, and
really?
And I'm also afraid that, fans are going to tune in to Global Force Wrestling like, what's this new thing? I've never heard of this. And they see a guy holding an owl as a championship belt, and they're like, who is that? Who is that guy? So that's another thing. Like, some of these guys, they won't know, So that's a deal, For all the wrong reasons, you may be saying who and seeing an owl on your TV screen. So I want it to be good. I hope it works out. I just have my reservations, right? I mean, who knows? The one thing I know is eventually Karen Jarrett will be the women's champion or the Knockouts champion. So, but anyway. Let's talk about something else, and let's get into what's some weird but kind of interesting information here. We have former World of Sport star Jim Breaks. He is 80 years old, and he has been arrested for an alleged murder. And that's so weird to say, but yes, he has been arrested for an alleged murder. They are looking into the death of his wife, who was 47 years old. And the police have yet to, charge him with anything, but they kind of have some suspicions, and he is in custody at the moment. This is kind of wild and very interesting. But Paul, I mean, I just don't know enough about the guy. I didn't watch World of Sport, but this is a crazy news story.
I haven't watched enough World of Sport to be familiar with a lot of its stars, other than ones that I've learned about through watching modern day stuff like Johnny Saint or Johnny Kidd or a couple other guys that were super popular. And Jim Breaks apparently was one of the top guys. Lots of runs with championships and such like that. But I don't know enough about him to say like he's like maybe he has dementia or something like that. But I mean, I think anytime somebody's wife gets murdered, they always bring the husband in just because they're with them all the time. And if anybody's going to have the three things you need, motive, means, and opportunity, it's usually the husband.
It's all alleged right now. So, and like Paul said, they always bring in the husband unless he just wasn't even there or something like that. He's also 80. I mean, there's like a 33-year difference between the two. Could he have something where he just went off and normally he's not like that, or what? Who knows? You're 80 is a weird time. So many things can happen to you. Not to mention being a former wrestler. Who knows if you have a little bit of other mental issues from that. Hopefully he's not the one that murdered her, obviously. Period, it's terrible that she got murdered, number one. Number two, let's hope that we're not talking about a wrestler that is probably popular with, I would say our grandparents, or maybe our parents, especially if we live in the UK. That we're talking about him at 80 years old having to go to jail for killing somebody, but that's just terrible.
Yeah, it is terrible anytime you hear of, any athlete in any sport, being in a situation like this, because it kind of puts a mark on that sport, right? And, especially in wrestling, where we saw Chris Benoit really change the dynamics of people viewing wrestling. And it really kind of changed also the way people think about it, just for the fact that they take one incident and one person and what they do and just really negatively look at a product. And, this is just not another thing we need. But, who knows? We can't sit here and say it happened, it didn't happen. We just want to report that this did happen. If you UK fans out there who do know more about this, hey, maybe you post what you think about it on our Wrestling of the Max Facebook group. That's always available for everybody if you want to talk about a news story or get into it. I would love to hear some of the feedback from the UK fans who used to love World of Sport, or maybe have some more information about this guy, how popular he was, maybe how unpopular he was, things like that. Just share the info. That's why we have that group. It's a lot of fun. Go do that, and much appreciated if you do that. Let's talk about something else here, though, that I think we know a little bit more about, and that's the fact that we've got more competitors for the Mae Young Classic that have been made official. We got 2 of them, in fact. We got Viper, and we got Kari Shane, or, of course, we can say it as Kari Hojo. You may know that name better. So, Sean, this is the case right now, and, it's good stuff. We got more official names.
Yeah, we knew Kari Hojo was going to be in for, ever now. But Viper's really cool because she is a much more mobile and somebody that knows how to carry herself way better than, Nia Jax. So, she had a really great run in Stardom, and I think that's really cool that they brought her in to be on this. It gives a different dynamic, different kind of matchup for whoever she's going against. So I really like that she's in here.
I'll be honest, Kairi Hojo has a great opportunity on her hands here, and if she takes off as well as Asuka has, then we could be in for a wild ride there. I like Viper. I think she's pretty good for what she's been doing, and I don't think she's been wrestling all that long either, so she's another one with a great opportunity on her hands here as well. And man, she's had some great matches in Stardom too. She's always hovered around the top of the card there. One of the more oftenly booked Gajins as well for that promotion. So it sucks if she's signing full time. It might suck for Stardom in the long term, losing another person. But Viper for sure. Looking forward to seeing what she can do in this tournament.
Yep, just 2 more reasons to why you should watch the Mae Young Classic right there. Let's also talk about another lady in wrestling, and that is Gail Kim. Yeah, that's right. Hall of Famer over there in, I guess you call it Global Force now. But yeah, she is apparently going to officially retire at the end of this year. And she says that she will be back in the ring this year, right after she gets, recovered from her back injury. So some interesting information out of Gail Kim, Paul.
Yeah, much like Mayu Iwatani said she was going to retire this year from Stardom until all this happened. Now that she's a champ now. Gail Kim's right up there too. She's been around a long time, guys. It shouldn't be that big a surprise. She's had a little bit of injury problems these last 5 or 6 years, and she's got a family now, and maybe she's just retiring to be with them while she can still get while the getting's good, and good on her. She's had a heck of a career. She really made the Knockouts division what they were for a long time, and if she was around WWE a couple years ago, I bet you she might have gotten a good run from there too.
Yeah, it just sucks that Gail Kim had to be in WWE and around a time where women's wrestling wasn't what it's become for that company, right? So. And that, Vince thought of her what he did, those reported things and whatnot. But I'm glad that she was able to really have a terrific run in TNA and become one of the, standard bearers there and stand to the Knockouts division. I guess it's not going to be called the Knockouts division anymore. It just, she's been around a while. And like you said, Robert Irvine probably sure wants to spend time with her, and now he can do his cooking show, and she can watch him in the studio or whatever. So that's got to be great that you can get to that time and know you had a great career.
Yeah, definitely. And the one thing is, it was someone who's had such a great career. She probably I don't know, probably. I don't think we'll see her in the WWE Hall of Fame. I just don't know if that's going to happen. She was really not a big part of WWE. She was in WWE at one time, but just really never had anything super successful under that name. And so it's kind of a bummer for that fact. But not only that, I think she kind of deserves it. Maybe not just because, big name, but also she's the first one that showed Vince McMahon that Japanese ladies can be, pretty, right? And he didn't understand that. He didn't think that was possible until Gail Kim. So it's kind of weird. But Jim Ross told that story. Very interesting. So I think she deserves to be in the Hall of Fame, if you ask me. So, well, let's go ahead and talk about, something else. We'll jump into some rapid hits here really quick here, guys. Let's, talk about the colognes. They have apparently asked for the release in WWE. Wow.
Reportedly, they're still booked on SmackDown this week, according to some sites, so I don't know. This all happened because Primo has some merchandise up for sale on Pro Wrestling Tees, and World Wrestling Council, their father's promotion in Puerto Rico, has started promoting that they will be leaving soon. So, kind of a little bit of a shock, but maybe not really. It's not like they haven't really ever been utilized until recently, and even then, it's not to a great degree. So, maybe making some room over on SmackDown for some other stars to get a chance. Who knows?
Yeah, I mean, it's not like they really ever did anything with the Shining Stars, let's be honest, right? I mean, their greatest claim to fame is having a bull, and then that bull proceeding to have a fantastic WLC match with Hornswoggle. So, I feel bad for them not really getting a big run, and, who knows if that whole thing with their dad getting into the Hall of Fame may not have gotten them released sooner. I think that they felt like they owed it to them for them to last this long. But, hey, look, a lot of people don't last as long as they did in that company. So I think that's a big testament to them. And I'm sure Impact would love to have them, GFW, add to that tag division over there, especially because they're getting a big, Latin contingent at this point. So why not add more to it?
Yeah, exactly. And, I just kind of hate that. Those guys didn't have a better run and do more. But, I mean, not everybody can get over. Not everybody can have the starring role or anything like that. So, I hope whatever the decision they make and whatever happens is good for those guys. Let's talk about something that happened on June 29th, and this is in NXT at their TV tapings. This is kind of a yin and yang for Paul. Gunner and Evie were debuted on that show.
Just house shows, not TV tapings.
I'm sorry. Thank you. House shows, perfect.
Yeah, don't worry about it. Yeah, Gunner, boo. Evie, yay. Pretty much all I got.
Chad Lale, I think, is his name now.
Oh, God, that is awful.
And then it's Dakota Kai for Evie, so, which I think that's fine.
Yeah, that's
they've come up with worse names. So I can't wait till JR has to say some of these names in the Mae Young Classic. This is going to be fun. Oh, boy. And then Lita's going to be right there foaming them with him, too. So, can't wait. If we thought that he didn't do that great in New Japan, on the New Japan show, can't wait till that Mae Young Classic.
Oh, boy. You're going to love it. So, yeah, there you go. There's some new faces in NXT. Pentagon Jr. apparently was robbed on that same day, June 29th, in Mexico. And apparently he got his keys, his wallet, his backpack, and cell phone all taken from him. And, wow. I mean, it just sucks.
Yeah, the backpack had his visa and papers in there that let him travel through customs to get into the U.S. to work. So that's all gone. He's got to get that sorted out. So he's going to be missing some shows for a while until he gets it all sorted out, which just really, really sucks.
Yeah, it does. That's always terrible when you go to another country and you lose, like, say, your passport or anything like that, because then you got to go to the embassy or whatever it is, and just that sucks. You know, it doesn't matter sometimes how much you try to protect your stuff when you go somewhere that you don't know. These unfortunate things happen to you, and it happened to him. Just sucks. He needs to go find that guy and break his arm. Oh.
Yeah, really. You know, I mean, now he's got an even bigger reason to be Pentagon Dark and be angry and upset about this whole situation. And if you know who stole his cell phone and all that stuff, please let me know. At least text me his phone number.
Yeah, call Crime Stoppers.
Yeah, call Crime Stoppers, but let me know his number so I can call him. I like the guy; he's awesome. Okay, well, let's talk about really.
Are you going to have me on the other line so I can translate for you?
That is the truth. I will have to do that. That's an honest truth. Actually, send Sean the number, and then he can translate to me. Gary, he said this, this, and this. Okay. In fact, Sean will just lie to me one day and say, "Hey, I translated for you," and just all a lie. But we'll see. Anyway.
Yep, that'll be the big announcement on this show. I will lie that I've talked to Pentagon Dark.
Gary, he's a big fan of yours. He loves you, Gary. He really does. And I'll just crying. Oh, this is amazing. I'm in heaven. Anyway. Another one of my fan favorites is still around. That is Ken Shamrock. Everybody knows this. It's the truth. And apparently he was on a podcast recently, guys, and he stated that he wants to come back to work for WB just to face Brock Lesnar. Wow.
How about
boy,
it, Gary?
No.
Wow.
I love Ken Shamrock, but that is not the opponent for him. He couldn't beat Kimbo Slice. No.
I love you, but I don't want to see you get hurt. Is that what it is?
Well, yeah, he couldn't beat Kimbo Slice, so how in the world can he face a guy like Brock Lesnar? He already ruined his reputation. So, I'm sorry. I love you. Come in, do a little quick vignette, then you're done.
That's the whole reason I put that. I just want to hear Gary's thoughts.
I love Ken Shamrock. That's like me saying, "Hey guys, I'm pretty happy doing a podcast. I'm ready. Let's go, ESPN. I am ready tomorrow." So that makes no sense. It makes sense for me to do midnight radio at some local station compared to that. So poor Ken Shamrock. I love you, buddy. You're just delusional at this point.
Apparently not enough. Not enough.
I know. Anyway, now before I start crying, let's move on to something else that's really cool and really exciting, and that is New Japan Wrestling and the G1 in the USA. That's right. We are going to talk about those shows. Paul and Sean are going to break them down for you. And don't forget, we're still talking Slammiversary on this show and Ring of Honor still to come. But right now, it's time to hop over to some G1 talk, guys.
King of Sport. New Japan Pro Wrestling.
Take it away, Sean.
All right. So, yeah, this was the New Japan G1 special in the USA. Of course, the first night was live on Access TV only if you live in the United States. You could watch it on New Japan World if you lived everywhere else. And they really made sure to block it. They basically blocked it where you couldn't even use the service at all while the show was going on. It would just say service is not available in your area. So you had JR and Josh Barnett commentating, and I guess we might as well get the elephant out of the room. So we can talk about the rest of the show, because this was all over Twitter and other social media while this was going on. I was live tweeting. Larry was very upset. So was so many other people that are big fans. JR did not have his best day. And we talked about the possibility of this happening because he's obviously, lost a step a little bit. And Josh Barnett did not really cover for him that well either. He kind of went along with JR, and it kind of wound up hurting the show a little bit. I think he got better towards towards the end. I watched it in Japanese on the for the night 2, so I don't know how he did there, but he, it's a weird. For me, it's weird because I can understand the people that are upset of all the DX and NWO references and everything else, and then you have a lot of the casuals that I saw that were saying, well, this helped me understand the references and everything. So there's some people aren't going to like it, some people do. But what did you think?
I watched both nights in English because I did assume that you were going to watch the Japanese on the second night. I think it was give and take. There are some parts I think that they did fine on. There are other parts where I think JR is just sort of showing his age and his lack of, I think, really keeping up with the product as a whole. Because he's only getting snippets of it whenever they're taping for Access, right? He's not watching entire shows. He's watching matches, and him and Barnett are calling the action. That's really all it is. So I don't know if there's that connection for him that really fires for a lot of these guys. Obviously, he knows the big names, right? And so did Josh. And I think when it came to the main events, they did a very good job. When it came to undercard stuff, I mean, Jim Ross got all of LIJ confused, which is just mind-boggling to me because they're all so vastly different.
Yeah, exactly.
So
he knew who Daryl was.
He didn't understand Daryl. He didn't understand why he had the cat, and which was funny.
That one I can totally understand. Like JR probably not understanding the subtleties of why this crazy Japanese man has a stuffed cat with him. That is that's one thing, but it's. He did have some funny lines in there with the, Cody, but they don't have a last name. Referencing, Rhodes, but then he went on to say Cody Rhodes about 60 times. So that really didn't help anything to make the joke the first time.
That was
and then
some definite old man not giving a shit right there is what that was.
And then... what did you say? Something about like the Too Sweet. It was like he wasn't a big fan of them doing the Too Sweet, even though they've done that for like ever. All the original ideas died in like 1997 or something like that. So it's like, wow, jeez, JR, you are not a big fan of that at all. But the thing is too, like some of his. I could understand, like, talking with some of the older guys that watch New Japan like we do. I can totally understand where his WWE commentary and his catchphrases don't necessarily work with New Japan. Mm-hmm. But it's still JR, right? Like, you're going to hear him say that somebody's getting beat like a government mule. I mean, that's kind of how it is. When he says it in the Mae Young Classic, it's probably going to be just as weird. But that's who he is, right? You can't. It's that old saying: you can't teach a dog, new tricks. It's especially if, like you said, he's not going through and really watching matches from people that he's not covering on those shows, which is a lot of the undercard most of the time. So it is what it is. And then, Access they couldn't even do the Okada zoom out thing, which still boggles my mind how cameramen cannot understand how to do that. But I think, we're just used to the great New Japan production, right? And so when other people are doing it, it suffers a bit. And that's kind of how it was with ROH for a while until they got the hang of it. So hopefully... Right. For the next shows, they get it down.
Yeah, I think it's worth noting a couple things here, too, that the set and everything like that really looked like an ROH set. It felt like an ROH show to a point in that way. And I think the way they shot it was sort of an interesting mix of, like, MMA, pro wrestling, real sport type of way, and is very different than I would say it was a little bit different presentation of the way that New Japan even presents their product, which was in a way refreshing, but there were, as you said, a lot of issues, especially with sound. Sound was a big problem, I think, throughout both shows.
Yeah, they kept cutting out, and like they apparently weren't telling JR when to go to break correctly, because he would go to break and then they'd still be talking, and then they'd cut to the same like 2 commercials that they have. And I mean, Sammy Hagar, I don't know how many times I saw your face on that thing, but
they even made a joke about that too.
But yeah, so if you're listening to this and you have not watched the shows, we will explain to you why you need to just push through all that and watch the shows anyway. But just beware that we know that there was issues, and so does everybody else. So we'll start here with night 1. They started off with Roppongi Vice, Will Ospreay, and the Briscoes against the Young Bucks, Marty Scurll, Yujiro, and Bad Luck Fale. This was a great match, great way to open the show. Love the section with Roppongi Vice and Young Bucks just getting their moment, and the crowd liking it. I will say the crowd was fantastic for both these shows. If you are used to the American crowds that chant weird things, and there's no "this is awesome," not because the matches weren't awesome, but they were really making sure that they were different than the typical American crowd. So I guess props to them for that. But yeah, this was also shown on YouTube for free, and it was a great way to get you to find a way to catch access for the rest of it.
I think the crowds, the second night was definitely more of an American crowd. This first one felt more like your regular New Japan crowd, which I really appreciated, especially down the stretch, for sure. But this opening match was phenomenal. And you have so many great workers in here. Roppongi Vice getting the win makes total sense, obviously, with them having to face the Young Bucks the next night. Everybody gets their piece in, everybody hits the hits, and it all flows very, very well. You couldn't ask for better from an opening match like this. It's one of the better matches of the entire weekend, for sure.
Oh yeah, you get your Ospreay and Scurll stuff. You get the umbrella coming into play, and Ospreay he has to stop himself from laughing at watching the umbrella go down. And, just everybody gets their point. You get all the super kicks. And, of course, Dave Meltzer lost his dad this weekend. So the Young Bucks also paid tribute to him as well during these. I think it's during the Roppongi Vice tag title match. But... yeah, it was cool that they set out that they were going to do that, and they did that as well. So, hitting the Meltzer driver here looks like they were going to win, but then Matt gets rolled up. And, yeah, just great 13 minutes of action here. Sadly, the CMLL contingent and Mr. Liger with Los Ingobernables did not do the same in the next match. This was okay. I didn't think it was anything too special. I was really excited to see this, and then just kind of petered out. You felt that LIJ was going to win. Nothing ever happened to make you feel like they weren't. But the crowd just absolutely was going bonkers for Liger, which that's always great.
If you were to show this to somebody who had never watched a New Japan show at all, had never heard of Jushin Thunder Liger, you would have thought that the crowd reactions this man were getting made him feel like the second coming of Jesus Christ. Both crowds just absolutely ate up everything this guy did, and you can't blame him, right? I mean, the dude's a freaking legend. During this one, JR has a bit of problem telling the luchadors apart, which kind of sucks. But it's one, they're not out there very long. This gets like 7 minutes, and two, I think it's just age is not Jim Ross's friend at this point. Is where we're getting at. And if you watch the Wrestle Kingdom show he called with Matt Stryker too, I mean, I think you got more of the same of what that was. So I don't know what people exactly were expecting this to be a home run or anything like that. But I guess when you attach Jim Ross to something, they're expecting greatness, and
right.
She's just not at that level anymore.
I mean, he's also getting the benefit of being produced and and having post production and everything else on those shows, so that helps him. But as we saw with the UK special, Nigel would help him a lot.
Mm-hmm.
So same thing here. It was just weird that Josh kind of would let him go on his stories a little bit too long, and would just, I think, in a trying not to make him feel bad or something, and it you feel it at different times throughout the show. But yeah, the match, regardless of the commentary here, the match just wasn't
very good. Yeah,
it wasn't as good as you'd expect from these guys, So, and then another match that might have had to do with the fact that you're trying to sell injuries from both guys. Lethal obviously has the rib problems from the match establishing at the pay-per-view. They did play that up here. He comes up taped up, even though then he starts doing suicide dives and that kind of stuff, which is weird, but I guess you can call it adrenaline. Lethal does win, which that's one match we thought that Hangman Page was going to win because of the injuries, but they went ahead and went with the the bigger guy, the bigger name guy, which, looking at it for a tournament, that's kind of what you would expect. But man, this push with Hangman Page continues to just be weird.
This is just straight up New Japan, right? And New Japan keeps Hangman Page in the lower card, and that's understandable. I just thought they were going to do a little bit of an upset here, especially with the injuries and stuff like that. And I'm glad that carried over. I really am. It makes it feel like stuff that's happening in Ring of Honor does matter here in New Japan. And I think you get that throughout this first night a lot, because obviously a lot of the ROH storylines going into this show matter for the main event and other reasons as well. And I don't know, something wasn't clicking here, because Lethal and Page have had good matches before. Page just didn't look like he was on the same page as Lethal was, and Lethal looked like he was out here to do his own stuff, and Page was like, well, let's just go with that, and it's sort of 8 minutes of guys doing moves. There's not a lot of flow or anything like that, unfortunately, and that really takes away from this, and for this being the first match in the tournament, too, it kind of starts off on a bit of a downer, but I think looking back, they might have made the right call. One, because I don't think they wanted to do a Bullet Club versus Bullet Club, and two, Lethal and Omega actually have a pretty awesome match on night two. So,
yeah, I agreed on that, and I think it's just a situation too where they didn't. This was not one of those times where I think people know Lethal and they know Page. There's a chance that they probably would have seen these guys. This is a chance where you might want to work a different kind of match and not the whole let's try to do the hits kind of thing, because they're really not here to see you, right? You just happen to be part of this tournament. If you would have done something like what we get in the next match, where you're telling the story and doing all that, I think it's much better received than what they did here.
I completely agree with you entirely. And I won't say the crowd there was unfamiliar with them. It's just what they got wasn't really worth taking a lot of notice for. It's your usual 2-star affair, right? I mean, it's nothing.
Right.
Nothing to get crazy.
The 2-star special, as friends of mine would say, but hey, at least that was it, because after this,
oh boy,
at least for the U.S. title tournament, it turns up another notch. If you had never seen Juice Robinson since his NXT days, you finally got the treat that we've all been talking about, that people rave about with Juice. You got all the energy, him making the crowd go wild. There was a dual chance here, because obviously Zack Sabre Jr. is big here in America, and he got his fair share of stuff here as well. As Sabre did his, I'm going to work the submission and work on your, I think it was his arm for this one, and just totally obliterated his arm. But I love Juice just fighting off, and Sabre literally had to disable every single limb that Juice had in order to win. And awesome. Just really, really good.
Yeah, Sabre living up to every bit of the Human Torture Rack name that I've sort of given him recently. That and you'll see it in the second match he has on night 2 too. But here, he's been in Juice all sorts of different ways, and I give Juice every bit of credit in this too. He was awesome. Juice is so talented at stringing moves together and just making them look so effective. It's something that I think you really only learn in Japan, because it's not something you see so much in the WWE. I mean, you see strings of moves, but the way they do it in Japan is just phenomenal, and so much force and impact, and the way they do it is just top-notch. And Juice has really mastered that, and you'll see it a lot more in the tag on night 2, but here, for certain, it was on display, and they got themselves a heck of a talent in Juice right here. For sure, probably going to hold that U.S. title somewhere down the road, I think.
I hope so, because he deserves to hold some kind of title with as much as he's done with that company. Like you said before, just deciding to start from the bottom, get all the way to where he is, and just keep getting better. And, because there's a lot of people that came in doubting him. I'm sure we did as well, coming in and going, here comes the jobber from NXT. He's just gonna, and at first it was just the total WWE style, and then he went in there, learned, and now it's just, he's so good. He understands, and that's the thing too, like, you learn in Japanese wrestling, but different is that you learn to know the temperature of the crowd and when to do something and when not to, if you really care. That is, if you're Yujiro and you just don't give a shit, then that's fine. But but if you really want to understand the craft and everything, something that Michael Elgin completely understood very well when he came is, look, they're digging my stuff, know exactly when to go for that fire moment and when I gotta give back to the other guy, and that works so well here as well. And Zack Sabre Jr. goes through, again, more popular guy, more well-known person, so totally understandable on that. I think you also get the Suzuki Gun and Chaos thing keeps going too, so that might have been part of it. But yeah, just Zack Sabre Jr. looked really good here as far as being a heel, even though he didn't get too much of that like he probably would have in Japan.
Mm-hmm. I completely agree with you entirely. And for sure, I mean, I think a lot of people, I mean, they're in California, right? They're close to PWG territory. He's the man over there. And he's a heel there, too. People still love the guy. Like, he's just such a phenomenal wrestler. The way he stretches people is just out of this world painful looking. He's somebody's really mastered that, for sure.
God, I mean, I dare somebody to tell me you watch what Zack Sabre does and go, oh, is this fake? Like, you should be questioning what you're watching.
Yes.
If you're not, I don't know what's going on with you there. But so this was cool from the format of, you got all 4 of the young lions from I guess you would call it from the New Japan World days. These are the first guys you saw from New Japan, the way it's been. Since we started covering it here on the podcast and everything, Paul's been watching it way longer than I have. But basically, since I started watching, these are the young lions that we started with. And it's cool because they were all in the same ring together. Mm-hmm. However, the match that we get here is also just, it's not very good. And that's because Billy Gunn is terrible in this match. And, well, sometimes Billy Gunn has his good days, and this was one of those where he just had a terrible day. The only good thing is that Jay White gets a pin on Yoshitatsu. So
I wouldn't say Tatsu was much better than Billy, although he didn't almost kill Hiroshi Tanahashi, so props to Tatsu on that one. I tell you what, though, David Finlay and Jay White, they really looked happy to be in the ring together. I think when Jay comes back from excursion, they're bound for the tag team division for sure, because it looks like Jay's going to be a heavyweight. And Tanaka and Komatsu, I just don't see them enough anymore, which really makes me sad. I like both of them a lot, especially Sho, but and Yohei is, I think, clearly spaced them and has put a large divide between his talent level and Sho. And from the sounds of it, it sounds like Sho is working on both wrestling and MMA right now, and where Yohei seems to be all in on wrestling. And they look bound for the junior tag division, which could use another team for sure. And Yohei could be the next big breakout junior star from Japan for the company, which really could use some more local boys to fill out that division.
Oh yeah, I think with Yohei, we kind of saw it before he even left, right? That he's going to be something. Same thing with Jay. Like when he came back, you feel like he's going to be something for New Japan, and you hope so. Just because, once again, along with Fale, they've done it already a little bit. You want to push into other markets. You can push into the New Zealand, Australia market with Jay and Fale sort of headlining there, being from that area. So that's awesome for New Japan. I think the other thing that I remember from this match is JR saying, "Are they really called the Teriyaki Boys?" I died. Like, oh god.
Barnett was quick on that correction, thankfully, because and all credit to Barnett too, because Jim Ross is still probably grieving the loss of his wife, right? And for me, it felt like he was trying to be his friend and not really trying to like push him to do anything more than he was comfortable with. And I think that's why he was so forgiving and willing to go along with wherever Jim Ross wanted to go, because he's there to be his friend, and I kind of appreciated that a little bit.
Yeah, they did make the joke of who's the shrimp, and yeah, like, wow. Well, at least they're having fun with it, So, but that was probably more fun than this match, sadly. And I was surprised Billy Gunn did not get the pin, but after he almost killed Tanahashi, I guess it's better he didn't.
Yeah, hopefully they called an audible, but it seemed like for the weekend the entire plan was to make Jay look good.
Yeah, because he gets the pin in the other tag, too.
Which is infinitely better in this one, too, but we'll get to that later.
Oh, yes, certainly. And so we get the heavyweight, it's not called that, the IWGP tag title match between the Guerrillas of Destiny and War Machine. This is not as good as some of their other ones, but this was still a good match. I enjoyed it. They put weapons in here because of the Guerrillas getting weapons previously, so before the match, Rowe cut the promo saying that, hey, why don't we have weapons in this match? And, just Chase Owens shows up randomly. JR has no idea who that is. I was like, oh, random Chase Owens sighting. That
they both absolutely no-sold the interference, too. Like, so funny.
So it's like, wow, he's throwing stuff in there, and you guys are just... no one cares. But the surprising thing, War Machine win the titles.
I mean, I know Chase has been cool with you on Twitter, so Chase, we still love you, buddy.
Yeah.
So I was surprised War Machine won these back, too. Contract status still in limbo. Doesn't seem to matter, at least maybe they've committed informally to sticking around or something like that, but I don't have a problem with this. War Machine connects very well in Japan. They connect well here. If they can get some more teams hovering around these titles, they have the makings of a good division. And I kind of hope to see more.
I just really wish they would find some more teams to put in this division. I mean, obviously it's being hurt a lot by the fact that Lance Archer's hurt. So Davey Boy is not even anywhere near to be seen, which is weird because he's actually a pretty good singles guy. But I can understand, like, you know, they're a tag team, keep him that way. Don't get anybody any kind of thoughts of him being a single, and they don't want to do that. But just
Hanma being hurt too is a big minus for this division as well.
Oh yeah, certainly. You know, it seems like every time that they kind of get something rolling with the tag division, it gets hurt, and then, you know, same thing goes with the junior tag titles too. Just now it's who the heck is the Young Bucks going to face? But you know, War Machine said it themselves that they feel that they connect better in Japan, and I feel like they also kind of are like Michael Elgin. They benefit a lot from being over there, being big guys, and having a look that's special, but they're also respectful of what's going on, and you know, so the crowd likes them. Whereas I think here in the United States, people like them, but they don't have that bad stigma. I think that Michael Elgin still gets with some people. Like, he was getting booed at times in that match, probably, you know, because of who he's wrestling also. But just I want to see War Machine stick around there. I think they've kind of said that they really enjoy it there. You know, obviously they would do great in WWE because Vince loves the big guys. And right now, more than any, the big guys are getting pushes, you know. But they also look different enough to where you could split them up, and each one could do their own thing, as we've seen in ROH, you know, with Hansen getting his run that he got. So I just think that, you know, do what you can in New Japan. At least you could be there a year, and I'm sure WWE still want you.
Yeah, and you know you're going to have success just because the division's kind of thin, and you still have that Killer Elite squad for you to go with whenever Archer does come back. And you know, as much as I'd like to keep... How sick was their entrance gear for this match? I love this. It's something straight out of Mad Max, Fallout, meets, you know, post-apocalypse stuff. It looked cool.
I loved it.
Really hope they keep that for sure. It's awesome.
Yeah, for sure. I think they will. It makes them look like Vikings, you know. And they don't have to have the silly horns or whatever. Just that, like, sort of like the TV show look, and that's pretty awesome. Oh my God, what is there left to say about a Tetsuya Naito and Tomohiro Ishii match that hasn't been said already? Because this absolutely delivered, you know, because until this point, you'd had the really great opener, you'd had the really good, you know, Sabre and Juice match, but it kind of lulled a little bit. You were going, oh my God, all right, this wasn't such a great showing. And then here comes this match, you're like, holy crap, this is why I watch New Japan Pro Wrestling. And of course, heck, it's freaking Ishii. You know he's going to do wonderful things, but then, you know, Naito has been just as great this year too. You get both of these guys in the ring, and you get fantastic stuff. Just the little thing with Naito not being able to reach the ropes with his foot to do the DDT, I thought was really great. The fact that Ishii won was also tremendous, because you were the only one that thought Ishii was had a chance here. And just, man, they had a great closing stretch. Just Ishii leveling Naito several times. Naito hitting him, and what was great was there was no interference, no nothing crazy, just straight up wrestling. Awesome.
Never let it be said that my love for Tomohiro Ishii has ever wavered. And before I get into this match, how great was the antics with Naito and Red Shoes before this match?
Yeah.
Naito wants Red Shoes to hold the ropes open for him. Red Shoes refuses, so Naito walks off. He's not going to get in the ring. He's not going to do the match. And then he gets into the ring and corners Red Shoes like he's going to fight him. Red Shoes cowers, and when Naito turns his back, Red Shoes puts up his dukes like he's going to attack him from behind. It's so wonderful. This match, though, absolutely incredible. What Sean said. What more can you really say? Ishii's phenomenal. As these reviews go on this episode, I'm going to gush way more about my boy Ishii, but Naito was phenomenal in this match, too. The storytelling deepens between these two every time. Him doing the Ishii reversing out of Destino with a headbutt was great. Missile drop kicks aplenty. Big chops. I mean, if you have never seen a New Japan show before, wondering what all the buzz is about, we'll point you at this one first. This was a great example of what New Japan is all about, for sure. And it was a great match. It was the best match of the first round. And, well, maybe not the best match. One of the best matches of the first round.
Yeah, it was amazing, and I saw plenty of people that were watching New Japan for the first time on this, on Twitter, live tweeting and stuff, and they were just, they were really, really into it once we got to this part, because this was a fantastic match. I don't know in what language, what other, it doesn't matter that they're not speaking, if the Japanese commentary was on, you could understand this.
Mm-hmm.
And know that you just watched something phenomenal, and you don't need it explained to you by two guys or whatever, whether it's Kevin Kelly and Don Callis or JR and Josh. You don't need that explained to you. You just watched a story unfold in front of your face, and it was wonderfully done. And then, of course, the guys that have equally just as great chemistry with each other and have had a great match every time that they wrestle each other, Michael Elgin and Kenny Omega. And this is also got hilarious stuff with Red Shoes, because the Young Bucks go over there and try to too-sweet Red Shoes, and he says no, and then he crotch chops them, and they freak out.
Red Shoes is just the gift that keeps on giving. Like, God bless you.
And they've done this spot I don't know how many times, but it's great every time.
It's so great. Especially the way the elites sell it. They're all pissed off and kicking ropes and everything. It's great.
Yeah. It's like, oh my God, you just told me I couldn't have my favorite toy or something. But yeah, these two, it's just absolutely amazing what Omega has done this year. If Okada wasn't so great, he would be the wrestler of the year at this point. But he's right up there. And Michael Elgin hasn't been around very long, but when he does show up, he puts on performances like this. And yeah, Elgin hits a nasty freaking German onto the apron when they're both outside. I don't know how Kenny Omega has a neck anymore after that. There's so many great spots. Omega actually wins after he hits like a zillion V-triggers and hits that one-wing angel.
Man, this match was incredible. Two Canadians wrestling for a championship based in the United States for a Japanese promotion on Canada Day, which is the day that Canada was founded. Something that both guys were really intent on trying to get across in the press conference as well as on Twitter. So, felt it was worth saying here. These guys have phenomenal chemistry together. Every time they go out there, they crush it. Elgin almost kills Kenny Omega with that German Sean mentioned. He almost kills him with an avalanche powerbomb off the middle rope. And of course Omega, the V-triggers had a little extra something this weekend. I can't tell you how many times I thought somebody was going to walk away with concussion with how many of those he was throwing. It's just unbelievable what he's able to do with that move, and how many people are copying him now. It's just ridiculous. People in the open promotion are copying him. It's insane. He gets the win here. I was a little surprised. Maybe I shouldn't have been, but Kenny just slayed everybody with this match. So did Michael Elgin. There's not enough great things to say about this one.
Yeah, another one that you really just need to go watch.
Yeah.
Just again, if you're one of these that you're saying, "Oh, I didn't have access, I don't have a way to watch this." Well, find it and watch this match and the Ishii match. And you know what? I'm sure that everybody's interested in what Cody wants to do. And I'll tell you that this main event here, which Cody had a really cool intro. By the way, with the ex-presidents out there. And that was fun. Brandy's out there. This is where JR makes the joke about the whole, they don't have a last name.
Poor bastard doesn't have a last name. Yeah.
Yeah. And then he says Cody Rhodes literally probably about 20 times. It doesn't matter. And... if WWE cared enough, I guess they could do something, but they probably don't. And so, it's this was actually really, really good. And what made this work, and it's not only is this probably Cody's best match on the Indies, is that Okada is great, but also because Cody brought it himself. Right, he had the mannerisms down. He just soaked up all the boos. All the, hatred that he got, and then turned that into a really good performance here. And just him and Okada worked well. Him trying to do the Rainmaker, him doing the Rainmaker, and then, Okada kicking out. Some of the reversals in this was really good too. Obviously the sigh of relief that everybody drops when Okada gets the 3 is another thing too. You could feel it in the building there.
A wave of relief rolled over the entire building after that final 3 count.
But that's how they had you so invested in thinking that, oh man, Cody really has a chance here. That I think that also plays into the match, and not to be without saying is that Kenny Omega and the Elite show up. Mm-hmm. And Kenny Omega does the whole throwing the towel in there. And I think in a way this might have taken a little bit from the match because I think people started caring a little bit more about what's going on with Omega and, what this is going on with Cody and stuff, and not so much the match. But I think before you get to that part, it was still really good.
I thought this was an incredible match. I know I'm a bigger fan of Cody's work than you are, Sean. I don't think there's many people on the independent scene who can sell like Cody does. He's just so good at that. 2, I think he's just so old school to the bone from all the teachings from his dad and all the people he idolized that he just saves the good performances for the big moments, like Supercard of Honor, like this match here. And especially if the match calls for it, like a grudge match or a big title match or something like that. And I think he just crushed this one. I mean, you have the best in the world example, but even that was still pretty good. So, I don't know. I still don't get a lot of the hate for Cody. But at the end of the day, this is a great match. Okada's wonderful. I love the Bullet Club interruption in this too, calling back on Dominion. Kenny Omega going ultra dick and trying to get Brandy to be the one to throw the towel in because that's her husband and everything, and trying to play on her emotions. Cody never hits the crossroads. I feel like that should be mentioned, and he even gets so ballsy as to try to hit the one-winged angel, which he doesn't because Okada knows if he gets hit with that, he's going to die. So Cody does, however, bust out the Rainmaker. It looks great. And I think that might have been the biggest spot where people were like, oh shit, this is it. And it wasn't, obviously, but this is an absolutely awesome main event. Totally worth your time to go watch, especially if you're a Cody Rhodes fan. If you're not, it's a great Okada match still. Another match on the resume for this title reign that, still isn't below 4 stars. God bless him. Okada's just, if he's not Wrestler of the Year, show me who is.
Yeah, I don't know. At this point, he is running away with it. the man is amazing. And again, like Cody was he's right there with him on this. This was not a Okada carry job or whatever. That I think there was people making the quote about he was dragging Okada down. He did not drag Okada down in this match. I think you're just trying to find something to pick at here, but look, this is a guy that's had tremendous matches with so many guys. I mean, there's going to be a point where he doesn't reach a 5-star level, just and that's okay. You can still have really good, on the border great matches, and that's fine. They don't all have to be this super outstanding everything. Everybody has the off night, I guess, whatever. If this is Okada's off night, my lord.
Yeah.
Omega did sort of let you know that he's still there. He's jealous of Okada main eventing the show, and then let people know this is Okada's night. So then Gedo cut his promo in English, which very appreciative that he did that, and then Okada talked English as well. To ask the fans how he thought about how they thought about how New Japan did tonight, and that was the end of night one. So very much ended like you would see in a normal New Japan show with Okada and Gedo cutting their promo.
Yeah, great. It was a good show. It wasn't the best show from New Japan this year, obviously, but the final 3 matches are just phenomenal, must see, and that opener too is great. Everything else in the middle ranges from good to bad, though. It kind of drags the card down. The production, of course, hurts a lot, too. But, I mean, Okada is really something I want to talk about here. He's third in combined days across his 4 championship reigns. He's second. He's tied for second now in most defenses across all of his reigns with Shinya Hashimoto. He's only behind Tanahashi in most things now. This guy is incredible. And whoever beats him this go around, they're gonna get one hell of a rub. That's all I can say.
He's not even 30 yet.
It's unbelievable. I'm almost 30. I feel like I'm almost dead.
It's like, God, we could literally see him do this for if we're going by the logic of Tanahashi being great at that age. God, if Okada stays that great the whole time, holy crap.
Yeah.
We're talking about maybe best wrestler ever.
I mean, what if he's still doing this when he's Liger age? That's... Wow.
Oh, my God. We will have witnessed, the miracle of heaven come down at this point. It's just... I don't know how else to explain it, but it's just... This is the golden man. Are we sure he's not, the Japanese Jesus or something? Sorry, not trying to be sacrilegious or anything, just making the point of, if this man has done this for, let's say, literally 25 years, that is insane.
Yeah,
so
I mean, absolutely in the run for one of the greatest wrestlers of all time, if he keeps this up. There's still obviously injuries and stuff like that could happen to him, but Okada is just on this incredible run right now. If you're just getting in on New Japan, you have a whole laundry list of matches you need to go watch from this guy, because he's something special.
Yeah. Get ready to if somebody were to give you the Okada's matches you need to watch, you might as well, it's a list by itself. So.
Yeah.
You'll be there a while just watching those. So we go on to night 2 here, which, of course, they added matches after we did the preview to let you know for night 2. So there was matches that we didn't preview that I guess we'll get to talk about here. And the aforementioned match that is similar to the previous one that we talked about, this one is so much better. It's actually good. Finlay, Liger, Kushida, against Sho, Yohei, and Yoshitatsu. And just they have a good back and forth. Yoshitatsu taps out again.
Mm-hmm.
This time to there's a triple submission, which is awesome to see. And I will never not think that it's awesome to have a triple submission finish, especially when you have all these guys in here. This was wasn't as great as the other opener, but still a good way to start out the show.
Yeah, this was really, really solid. I think you get a good impression of what David Finlay's about in this, which seemed to be part of what they wanted from here. And I think the Tempura boys get to make a better showing of themselves here, too, which is also much appreciated. But for sure, that triple finish, Finlay slaps on a stretch muffler, Liger slaps on a surfboard on Komatsu, and Kushida gets Tanaka in the hoverboard lock to make them all... Well, I mean, Tatsu taps out first, but, I mean, they probably all would have tapped because, you know... that's a lot of submissions, and you don't want to be in that. So, once again, I mean, the pop for Liger might have been louder on this night, all things considered. Like, the dude's a god. Oh, what can I say?
Right, yeah. He's literally a thunder god.
Yeah, literally. Raiden's jealous.
Yes. So, we have our first semifinal of the United States Championship Tournament. Kenny Omega and Jay Lethal. Kenny Omega also goes after the ribs here. Putting him into the guardrail and all that stuff. So smart on Kenny for understanding that, Lethal has an injury and to go after it. I love the spot where Lethal hits that lethal injection early and then Omega rolls out of the way. Mm-hmm. Right as Lethal's about to grab him, he hits the floor. There's some really good stuff. This is not anywhere close to how good the next match is that we're going to talk about, but this is still very good. The crowd was actually very pro Kenny Omega here, and Omega wins, as you'd expect.
Lethal looks great in this match, if you ask me, though. This is a very smartly worked match that focuses a lot on Lethal's rib injury and Lethal trying to win early, and when he gets moves in, they're big ones, trying to keep Omega down. He just can't do it. I think, outside of Lethal continuing to do dives, I think he sells the ribs a lot better in this match for sure, and it's such a pleasure to watch these two work. It's something you might not get to see very often, but these are two of the best that both of these promotions have right now, and it was certainly... I thought this was really cool to see, personally.
Yeah, it was... I think it would have been... it's always... Maybe the Hangman Page, he would have been able to hang with them, and you have something different just to see him in this kind of spotlight, but... Jay Lethal can bring it in the big moments, and he does here. And I think Omega obviously knew that he had a big match ahead of him in the final. So, but you don't have to tell that to Tomohiro Ishii. He just keeps doing his thing because he has a match with Zack Sabre Jr. And this was great, excellent, whatever adjective you want to put on it. This was awesome. These guys, Sabre once again tries to do his, submission stuff, and he does it so well to the point where Ishii has to use his whole body to get to the ropes because he can't get his arm. It's just great. He literally almost climbs on top of the ropes with his legs. It's an awesome moment for a big guy like that. I think people don't. It's like he's like 5'7" and 220, but he moves like he's, like 180 or something. It's just pretty fast for a guy that looks like Ishii does. Mm-hmm. And these two just did great stuff. Sabre, of course, does his normal submission stuff, but Ishii just has this wonderful way of blocking it every time, and it looks so nasty, and just I love it. I love the fact that the way Ishii, these two just work really well together. From the fact that a lot of guys would have found just let me find a way to get out of the submission, right? Or whatever. Ishii just says, you know what? Fuck you. Bam! I'm gonna hit you with a lariat, and you're going to leave me alone because if not, I'm gonna hit you again with it. And the perfect one is, oh, you're gonna hit me with this PK? Well, screw you. Lariat again, and then hitting the brainbuster for the win. Just goes about 12 minutes. But man, this is great.
This is so good. I can't express in words how much I love Tomohiro Ishii. I can't explain it. He's so good. He's so vastly underrated, I think, by so many people. And fortunately, I think the live crowd picked up on him pretty quickly. If they weren't overly familiar with him, they certainly were by the end of the night. And this was a great first step because him and Zack Sabre Jr. put on one of the best matches I've seen the last 3 months. It's just incredible, and you nailed it. If he gets slapped into submission, he takes it until he throws Sabre off, and then punches him really hard in the mouth. And then when Sabre strikes him, he doesn't give a shit because he's going to hit him harder. That's the entire match, and it's just worked to perfection. Ishii, just give this man a title. Just do it and see what happens. Give him a big title. Give him the Intercontinental title, and let's just see what happens. Because this guy can work with anybody. He can make them feel important. He can make them look dangerous, and he can just look equally as dangerous and more so every time he goes out there. And he's 41. It's incredible what this man can do.
He doesn't look 41. It's amazing.
I think when they zoom in on his face, you can see the 41. Like, he's got this gray, grizzled 5 o'clock shadow that really does make him look like a pit bull, honestly.
No, he seriously looks like there's a man that has been given this nickname of the Stone Pit Bull. He really does look like a pit bull.
It really does. Wrestles like one, made of concrete. Like, this is the epitome of strong style, I think, if you ask me. Ishii is just incredible.
Ishii also looks like he could be in one of those like strongman competitions. Like, you wouldn't suspect that he can lift all that weight, but wait till he's moving that car, and he shows you can.
And he looks damn good in a suit.
Yes, he does. Especially in a music video where some girl is like singing about him, and he just keeps walking by.
Ladies love Ishii.
So, yes, exactly. Forget Ladies Love Cool J. It's Ladies Love Ishii.
Ladies love Ishii. That's it.
So after this, we said that the Luchadors would redeem themselves, and they certainly do. Because LIJ come in and have this fantastic 10-man here with Dragon Lee, Jay White, Juice Robinson, Teton, and Volador against LIJ. And oh my God, there's just so much going on here. Reckless stuff everywhere. And just Jay White again getting the win.
Two things. First off, Hiromu actually lets Jim Ross hold Daryl during this match, and Ross is like, does this mean anything? Am I special now? And Barnett also makes the call of Sonata kicking people in the butt. That'll turn your brown eye blue. You can't make this up, folks. This is just incredible, though. LIJ knows how to make these work. I think the Luchadors were really on point. All of them. You get more Dragon Lee and Hiromu interaction, which is wonderful. I think Jay White looks great in this again. He hits the Sister Abigail thingy, because that's not the move he's been using in ROH. He's been using the Kiwi Crusher to get the win. And I think everybody was so on point, especially Juice. I think this is the match, especially where what I was talking about earlier, where you get to watch him string moves together like nobody's business. And he just does such a good job of it. And I love Juice for that, and I didn't think I'd ever say that.
Yeah, it's amazing, like how good he has gotten, and everybody got their moments here. Looked much better than in the previous match, and just definitely another match that you need to go watch, especially if you haven't watched too much Luchadors. They certainly pull their own weight here. Then you get the Guerrillas of Destiny and Hangman Page against Michael Elgin and War Machine. I feel like Michael Elgin and War Machine could easily be a 6-man tag team title team any day of the week. But the awesome part here is that Haku shows up with his sons, which gets a big pop from the crowd. This is pretty cool. That he just shows up at these events randomly, and the dude still looks like he could go. I thought he was in the match at first when he showed up. I was like, oh god, this is a 6-man with Haku. We've seen him do it before. And
I would have lost my shit if it was him teaming up with God here. Like, Michael Elgin and War Machine would have been doomed.
Exactly.
Even in this day and age, I bet you Haku is still one of the toughest men walking the planet Earth, and maybe still one of the most frightening, even with salt and pepper hair. So, I obviously I might be overstating that a little bit here, but this is a fine match, right? I mean, I don't think anybody really goes over the top in this. It's still good, though. The people are out there doing the good stuff you want to see. And Page ends up getting the win here to sort of redeem himself after with a rite of passage and the slingshot lariat. So that's kind of cool.
Yeah, it's that's good that Page gets the win for his team. Again, just the weird, okay, he won in this tag, and it's not like Jay White where the last time New Japan fans have seen him, he's Young Lion, so it's a big deal that he gets wins. Hangman Page getting a win in a random tag is just alright,
I wonder if this translates into him and Yujiro getting another shot at the tag titles.
Maybe. Somebody's got to go for those titles, right? There's not that many teams.
You're right.
available. They need to start just making teams. I mean, if you're not going to do anything with Elgin, find someone to pair him with, and him and Juice could be a tag, him and Juice could be a team.
Them and War Machine would be awesome, too.
Yes, let's do it. Hoss battle everywhere with Juice just taking all the big moves and then dishing it out. But, then we have the title matches go after this. They decided to add another tag match in between, but so we have the first of them, which is the Young Bucks taking on Roppongi Vice for the junior tag titles. The Roppongi or Young Bucks win, as you'd expect, but they have another really good match here, and these two, every time they go, it's fantastic. Got no problems here. But you get the sad moment of the fact that apparently Beretta's going to go heavyweight. And so Roppongi Vice is no more.
I was close to shedding tears during this promo. I don't know what's going to be in store for Rocky. I hope it's a singles push. The guy deserves it for sure. And he can still go. So let's make that happen. But commentary was talking about retirement maybe, and I was really hoping that wasn't the case either. This match is great, though. Equally as good as everything else they've done this year. This was much more balls to the wall, speedy stuff down the stretch. They go over 20 minutes, though, and so many great moves, so many great spots, lots of dives, as you would expect to. But, I mean, Roppongi Vice couldn't get it done again, and Rocky just lets Beretta go on his way. And I can't say I'm not excited for Beretta. He's been phenomenal this year. and absolutely deserves a chance to see if he can make something of a heavyweight run for sure. But I'm just sad. They RPG quickly turned into one of my favorite teams.
Oh yeah, I love them almost from the word go when they first won their tag titles, and I was really upset when they lost them that quickly back to Young Bucks, and they kind of, petered out for a little bit. When they came back strong, though, they've been tremendous, and from the entrance music, which is still like one of the catchiest, New Japan songs out there. I'm going to miss that as well. Mm-hmm. And, Trent has been so good this year. I think a lot of people miss that in these, not that Rocky's not, but I think Trent really has been able to have his coming out party in New Japan, and I think part of that going heavyweight is due to that as well. And good for him that he gets this opportunity, right, to do something different and get out of the junior, do something on his own. And look, for a while, Triple H apparently really wants Rocky in NXT for the trainer spot. Mm-hmm. So maybe this is where he finally goes, which I don't have a problem with. If he really wants to retire and they're not going to give him a junior title run, then look, he's done everything else. How many tag teams is this man going to form and win junior tag team titles and tag team titles with? If they don't have a singles run for him, sure, he could go to the dojo and train the young lions whenever he's part of the LA dojo, but I wouldn't have a problem if he goes and takes a trainer position either.
I wouldn't either. Rocky's a phenomenal talent and somebody who I think would be very good for New Japan to try to keep around to train people, whether it's in the U.S. or Japan, just because he's somebody who's successfully made the transition and made a very, very good living at it by being one of the the top junior attractions, whether it's tag team or singles, for the past decade almost, which is just endlessly impressive. I think he's an 8-time junior tag team champion. He won it 3 times with Trent. He won it 3 times with Kozlov, and then he won it a couple other times with some other people too. And he's been the IWGP Junior Heavyweight Champion before as well. So, let's give him one more run, and then if he wants to go off into the sunset after that, then let him have it, because he's more than earned every bit of praise and accolade and rest that he can get.
Yeah, certainly. I've talked a bunch about how Rocky doesn't get enough publicity from people about how really good he is and how much he does in these matches, and I'd love to see him get the singles run, but even if he doesn't, he's got a spot wherever he wants to go, and hopefully, Beretta really gets to keep shining here for New Japan and then the heavyweight spot. So, in between this, Ricochet shows up, and he said he wanted to be at this show, but a certain underground fighting promotion were being pricks. And now he is going to try to go after the junior tag titles with Mr. Ryusuke Taguchi as part of Taguchi Japan. That's pretty cool that we now have a new team going after the Young Bucks. But man, Ricochet not like some Lucha Underground. I know.
You're absolutely right. I'm sure he was not pleased with the extended break, because that meant a longer period of time of him not being able to negotiate and do stuff on television in America because of the deal. So, obviously, I'm kind of excited to see him and Taguchi take a run at it. I mean, it's a fresh team for the Bucks. I don't know when exactly this is going to go down, but I kind of love the Young Bucks' reaction. We're like, yeah, we'll do it, and then they look at the camera like, who are these guys? Like, they can't be serious, right?
Oh, and then, what's going to be fun is, like, you're going to get a lot of, we're going to super kick Taguchi's ass, and
oh, yeah.
Taguchi, like, no-selling it and hitting him anyway and all that. Ricochet doing his stuff because he always works really well with the Bucks, too. So, it's going to be fun. I'm really excited to see that, honestly. Then you have, before we get to the Final 2 matches here. We get our final tag with a Bad Luck Fale, Cody, Marty Scurll, and Yujiro against the Briscoes, Okada and Will Ospreay. A little Bullet Club and Chaos tag action here. It was a fine match. Some fun stuff in there. Cody gets the win. And there you
go. Cody and Marty playing off each other during this was really fun. You have some other guys playing their hits here. Ospreay doing lots of cool stuff. Crossroads and Disaster Kicks enough to put him away. Cody gets the victory back after losing to Okada, which is kind of cool. So things looking up for the Bullet Club on these shows. And obviously I think a lot of this happening in America obviously is why they're winning here, because the Bullet Club is obviously at the forefront of Ring of Honor booking. They're still a big deal over here. I mean, I can't tell you how many shirts I saw of the Bullet Club in the crowds across both days. It's unbelievable.
Oh yeah, they're huge here, and it helps also the Young Bucks are super popular. Part of the team, Kenny Omega as well, Cody. They keep picking the right people to be on this in the Bullet Club, and it keeps working for them. So until it doesn't, it's going to be a big deal in America, and it continues to be. So yeah, then we get to this Intercontinental title match between Hiroshi Tanahashi and Billy Gunn. This wasn't anything to write home about, honestly. You did get some go ace and go ass chants. Well, I didn't think I would ever hear that on the show. Tanahashi wins the Sling Blade and High Fly Flow after missing it before and getting into a famouser. Again, it was fine. Billy Gunn didn't almost kill someone. So
it's true. Bonus, for sure there. I think this was everything I was expecting it to be. You get some fun spots in here. For example, you get to see both gentlemen's butts if you're into that. Also, I thought it was funny that Mr. Barnett noticed that Hiroshi Tanahashi had no tan lines. So he's even an ace in the tanning booth, folks. Easy defense for Tanahashi. I don't know if a lot of people wanted to see this, but it'll be fun in a couple years to say, hey man, remember when Billy Gunn faced Tanahashi? And people will be like, what?
Yeah, I think that's what you're going to get out of it, is just how fun was that that it happened. And then we get our finale here, which, look, it's already July. We might have our match of the month right here. And we got G1 shows still. So, and by the way, there is a Lionsgate Project 7 show that should be on demand by the time you listen to this. So if you are into watching the Young Lions and the younger contingent, there's a show for you, which is their last show before they take the break for G1. So, yes, Kenny Omega against Tomohiro Ishii to crown the United States Heavyweight Champion. Kenny Omega wins, so he is your United States Champion. But man, this match is absolutely amazeballs. And yeah, so much great stuff in here.
5 stars if I've ever seen it, Sean. This was frickin' believable. And these guys have already had 2 encounters this year, 4.5 for me, and just, oh my god. For the dragon suplex into the table, I literally leaped out of my chair. And all the build up to that too, with Ishii biting the ropes to try and stop Omega from doing it to him, is just, what a moment. And just the finishers, like the closing stretch was just nuts. I couldn't get enough of this match. I was a lot louder than maybe I should have been. Thankfully, there were fireworks going off at the time I was watching this, so I don't know if the neighbors heard me. But my goodness, what more can you say about both guys? Literally,
you were having your own fireworks inside your house.
I sure was. I sure was. I was losing my mind. I was a little late doing the Raw show because I was still busy marking out after the match was over. These are two of the best guys in Ring of Honor, in New Japan. Two of the best wrestlers in the entire world. They went out there and proved it in a match that absolutely solidifies this championship as something you should pay attention to. Kenny Omega's an incredible first champion. I don't necessarily know where you go from here, but it's a great belt around Kenny's waist, and just go watch this match, people. It's so good. Maybe more than 5, maybe 5.5. I don't know. The scale's broken. Thanks, Meltzer.
Yeah, seriously, just go watch this match and tell me you're not enthralled at every moment. This is such great stuff. Wonderful way to end these two shows. Kenny Omega also goes on record to say the Never title is shit. So there's that as well. What a shot to Minoru Suzuki. I don't think you want to piss him off. You're also on the same block as him, so watch it. Watch for that match now. But yeah, I mean, look, I think you definitely got... They called this a G1 special in the USA. If you don't want to watch the G1 after this, I don't know. I don't know what to tell you.
I don't either.
You had phenomenal matches. And I bet there's going to be so many matches that don't even touch this in the G1.
I don't know.
We got in these two shows. So, they're really going to have to put on the working boots, God.
Yeah, I mean, night one's always something to watch, especially since they start splitting up the blocks. The first 2 nights are now always something to watch. They're going to have to do a lot to try to touch them. This main event on night 2, oh my God. I've seen people starting to call for Ishii winning the G1. I don't think it's going to happen, but I'm not going to argue against that after this performance. He is my MVP of the entire weekend. The dude worked so hard, and he's just so good. He's so good. A hidden gem of a wrestler right in front of your eyes, people.
Yeah, I don't know what else what is there we haven't said about Tomohiro Ishii at this point. I think, Kenny Omega deserves his just due for bringing it the whole time as well.
Absolutely.
If there's maybe co-MVPs, I think obviously, Ishii's match with Xavier would put him over the top. But just, phenomenal matches by Ishii every time he stepped in the ring. Omega had, from really good to the greatness that was this last match. Just really excited to see what both guys do in the G1. I think, you could make the case that, and a lot of people were saying Naito and Okada is, the match that they want to have at Wrestle Kingdom, and that's fine. But, Ishii did beat Okada last year.
He sure did.
In the G1. He did not ever get to capitalize on that shot. I know they're stablemates, so it probably won't happen. They are in separate blocks this year. But wouldn't it be amazing if Ishii got the main event? The show of shows from New Japan and Wrestle Kingdom. I'm not going to say it's happening, but if there's been a guy that... And the thing is, I know Geto must know that he is loved and the reaction that he gets and how good Ishii is. I mean, they're all he hangs out with them all the time. Mm-hmm. I think it's probably the age factor.
It's got to be.
Yeah.
I think being 41 is going to hold him back from ever holding the IWGP Heavyweight Championship right now. There's nothing stopping them, though, from putting that IC title on him for sure. He would be a phenomenal 1A. I think he'd draw just fine, too, because people are going to come and they're going to get a great fight every time. And people love that idea from him because, he proves it every single time, too. So, forget about ladies love Ishii. Paul loves Ishii. That's a true fact right there.
Yeah, we need to get you with a, a picture of you and Ishii with the heart sign.
It just beat
like
me
Damon,
crying next to him.
like Damon McDonald has with Liger, we need to have a Paul and Ishii moment there.
How phenomenal was that video? Oh my god.
Yeah.
It makes me happy every time I see it.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, I love the fact that, Damon's such a Liger fan, and he can, of course, Damon McDonald from the New Japan Purocast, which they are phenomenal. If you've never heard them, him and Colin Miller do fantastic stuff over there. But still, I mean, this shows you why wrestling is great, right? People will always, talk about WWE shows and everything else, and going to WrestleMania and all that stuff is great. SummerSlam, all that. Not taking that away from everybody, but I'd love to be able to go to one of these shows because I'm sure the camaraderie between having all these New Japan fans around each other and just get to talk about wrestling and everything would be a great moment, I think. So I'm sure they had a blast over there at those Long Beach shows, and hopefully they'll come around us sometime.
Yeah, I think that's one thing the production couldn't take away, is that these crowds were excited, they were hyped up to nobody's business, and for all the flaws that Access TV had in producing this, the crowd more than made up for a lot of the flaws, if you ask me. They're just unbelievable. Like I said, when they come here next year, I'm seriously considering going.
Yeah, I mean, hopefully it's a little closer in California, but like you, I might have to make that trip over there.
Yeah.
Yep. Well, Gary, are you with us here?
I don't know if we put Gary to sleep or not.
I am.
Okay.
No, I am here, guys. Yeah,
okay.
I have been listening, and so I mean that's New Japan for us. Now, I mean we've been running pretty long here. I guess we need to cover.
Sorry, we had
two
full shows that we had to.
Plus, me and Sean were marking a little bit, so.
Yeah, we may should have done a special probably, but hey, there you go. We at least covered it in this show. So, Sean, do you think you can get us through Slammiversary pretty decently here, and kind of give us an info?
Yeah, I mean, I'm doing this by myself, so it shouldn't be too difficult. Plus, some of this I've kind of forgotten. So,
oh boy.
But yeah, I mean, look, we can still kind of talk about it on Thursday too. We don't have to give a full. But yeah.
Well, how about this? How about you give us your highlight, and Thursday we'll give you more of a full in-depth report on Anniversary, where Paul and I can tune in help with this and actually give our thoughts too. So why don't you just give us the highlights, what you really thought or didn't like about the show?
Okay, so I don't know if you want to. Does Paul even have the Impact?
I sure don't.
Stuff. Okay, so anyway, they'll probably have different music anyway next week. So the match that is the standout match that everybody needs to go watch, and I didn't get the pre-show match in the way that I got to watch this show, so I'm sorry I can't tell you about the KM, Congo Kong, and Laurel Van Ness against Shera, Braxton Sutter, and Alley. So I have no idea what happened there. They had a nice video package to start the show that goes over the history of what they were and what they are now, and the thing goes over the show. And they have a freaking owl that flies in the arena, and he sits on one of the posts. So
oh boy.
Actually, I thought that Robert Flores, formerly of ESPN, now he's what's he doing now? I forgot. But Don West is phenomenal.
He's doing Major League Baseball, their channel.
Oh, okay. I never watched Major League Baseball on that channel, so that is one thing that I am so glad that I got your cable login, because I can watch the Rangers. But
there you go.
Thank you, Gary. So anyway, Don West is phenomenal. He is awesome. I wish, I would actually watch more GFW if they could tell me that JV and Josh get to go away and you can have Don West back again full time, because he makes shows much more interesting just from his intensity and his emotion, and he does that throughout the show. The best match on the show is the opener, which they had representatives from each of the four promotions, the figureheads before you got to the match. Of course, you get LAX, El Hijo de Fantasma and Drago from AAA, Naomichi Marufuji and Taji Ishimori from Noah, and Garza Jr. and Laredo Kid from Crash. There is just so much good stuff in here. Ishimori at one point, he's so fast, and he just spins around, hits Ortiz with a kick, and then hits a Northern Lights suplex, and Marufuji has his moments, but it's really about LAX, honestly. And they get a lot of the big tag moves, and they really get to show how great they are in this match. Homicide eventually hits the Gringo Killer, which takes out one of the teams, and then they get to hit that big Doomsday Powerbomb, and LAX wins. It goes about 15 minutes. Just a great match. You really need to watch this. It's just total action, total non-stop action happening.
I get it.
If I could say that. Then you get Moose. And then we also find out there's going to be a new LAX member that we get to find out on Impact on Thursday. And then Moose and D'Angelo Williams, Gary Barnage is there in his corner, and Austin Dillon as well against Eli Drake and Chris Adonis. Move over, Moose, because there's a new guy in town here. D'Angelo Williams is the star of the show. He is absolutely the star of the show. If this guy doesn't want to wrestle anymore, if he doesn't want to play football anymore, he can get into wrestling, because he was great in this match. He was smooth. He was quick. He was doing arm drags and some big moves, and really, I don't know about Meltzer's comp to he could be another Matt Riddle or whatever, but D'Angelo Williams was great in this. And Moose and D'Angelo Williams win, as you'd expect. Actually, there's a point where he lets Williams do the splash, but the table doesn't break. So he does the splash, and he flips over the table because it doesn't break. It's terrible. I feel bad for him. But, the match was fine. It was a good match. But again, what you remember out of this is that D'Angelo Williams was really good. And then you have the strap match between James Storm and EC3. These two really, there was two awesome parts where basically James Storm just whips the absolute hell out of EC3. And EC3 hits the 1%er, but James Storm kicks out. Then EC3 hits this sort of pedigree thing on Storm, and he wins, as you'd expect. But this was it was another good match. I thought this was going to be better, quite frankly, but still good for being on pay-per-view, and the right guy won. So, Bruce Pritchard had a family thing in real life, and so he couldn't be on the show, but they did a thing where Dutch Mantel was trying to find him, and they couldn't find him, and whatever. So, Jeremy Borash and Joseph Parker against Josh Matthews and Scott Steiner. Scott Steiner gets the Steiner recliner in pretty early. You have James Mitchell shows up. Shark Boy shows up. And then Abyss appears. The match changes. Much more even after this point. Sharkboard gets suplexed by Steiner, so you get that big moment there. Abyss hits a back hole slam on Josh Matthews. And then Jeremy Borash takes a big spot because he lays the tacks down, Abyss, and he lays the tacks on top of Josh Matthews. So Jeremy Borash has no recourse but to splash, and his hand hits the tacks. So his hand is all bloody, and he has to come back out to do the announcing with tape on his hands. This was actually good. As in, it was entertaining, and it never dragged. It was never bad, and so good match there. You get the Davey Richards and Angelina against Eddie and Alicia Edwards. They attacked them from behind early. Lots of just spots here. You get a brainbuster in a chair, a table spot, the Sunset Bomb, like almost on top, like. They're on this ladder, and they set the table up wrong, so Eddie doesn't have anywhere to move, so he goes to the table with Davey, but then he pins him right there. And it was really short. It's like, man, this was a big match, and I guess they had to cut it short because some of the other matches went long, but pretty good match here. The faces win as you'd expect, and it only goes about 8 minutes, so... kind of negative there. The 2 out of 3 falls. I expected more out of this, I guess. I thought this was good. You get the quick, key rolling through a Rana and then double stomping just out of nowhere and then getting the pin. So he gets the first fall. You get... Dutt rolling through a Dragon Sleeper and getting a pin to get the second fall here. And then Dutt is able to get low-key off the top rope, hits that double stomp moonsault, and then he wins. So Sanjay Dutt retains the X Division title. I don't know if Low-key had like a hand that gets hurt in this match or not, but it looked like it was hurting him there. And they got about 18 minutes, so that's good for X Division getting a lot of time. Just I expected them to kind of go the balls to the wall, and they never did during this match. Rosemary and Sienna, this was the worst match on the show. Rosemary comes out with a freaking bunch of zombie chicks before she shows up, which is pretty awesome. Yeah, all I remember was that there's an exploder that gets hit during parts of this. They also have the stupid, I get it that they've been involved in this match, in this feud, but, you didn't have to have Laurel Van Ness and Allie show up and all that stuff. You could have just let them have a match. Sienna... Rosemary actually kicks out of the silencer and everything. Sienna actually finds a way to block the mist, and then she rubs it into Rosemary's eyes and gets the guillotine and wins. So a little turnabout is fair play. Just this kind of screams Jeff Jarrett, I've got to have overbooking because I have to have it, and it wasn't really needed here. So at least the women got the semi-main event spot, so good for them. Bobby Lashley and Alberto El Patron for your GFW championship. By the way, all the titles were called GFW titles on the show, so when they were doing the unification part, it would say for the GFW championship or GFW women's championship, so perhaps they're not going to do the Knockouts name anymore. Obviously, as you'd expect, King Mo gets involved here. He actually tries to hand a chair to Lashley. He drops it just so he can slap Patron around and stuff like that. Patron actually moves out of the way of the spear. and Dos Cara shows up to low blow Mo, and Patron gets the drop kick. He gets that stupid double stomp, but he wins. Another good match. Kind of about what you'd expect from these two. You know that they're not going to have anything great. It almost felt like they were trying to do the whole, we're going to make this feel epic, and it wasn't. But it's still a good match. Patron wins. Everybody comes to celebrate with Patron. I think it's also because I think everybody and their mother knew that other Patron was winning this title, which doesn't help. And that's the end of the show. Again, LAX and that tag match is the match you really, really need to go see. This is a good show overall, though. I really I enjoyed it. I never felt like it dragged down except for the women's match. Again, D'Angelo Williams probably surprising me is a standout there, and some of the matches that I thought got a little bit of time probably should have got more, and kind of weird booking decision. But aside from that, still, I thought GFW delivered for the most part, and it was nice to see them on pay-per-view again.
Yeah, great stuff. And I knew Gary Barnage was going to show up somehow, some way. So at least he did make his appearance. And, I'm really interested in seeing the rest of this show. It's going to be really fun to watch. I can't wait to see D'Angelo Williams because Sean kind of put him over here. So now I really want to watch that match and check everything out, overall in Slammiversary. And so me and Paul will probably throw our 2 cents in on Thursday and give you kind of our points of view, kind of some of the things we liked, maybe didn't like, and things like that. So there you go. It is time for us to talk Ring of Honor, guys. Let's go ahead and jump into that right after this.
All right. We open the show with a close-up shot on the Ring of Honor Championship, and then it pans out to Cody. This is the first show to take place after Best in the World. Cody has some things he wants to get off his chest. He never gets a chance to. The lights go down. Christopher Daniels shows up, and we get ourselves a huge brawl. They fight back and forth. They're throwing referees around. They're throwing security around. Finally, after Daniels takes out Cody some on the outside, and Cody's trying to get back into the ring, they succeed in hauling him apart and keep Cody from getting back into the ring and end up getting him to the back. I don't know if this is necessarily the way I would have gone, but obviously Daniels is going to be pissed, and he's going to have some say in this. So I don't know if this maybe main event's another pay-per-view, but I mean, maybe them getting a match or on ROH TV or something like that, I'd be much more okay with.
Yeah, here's the problem for me. It went too long, and what I mean by that is I think they could have made the point that, yes, Daniels is mad. He's angry. He wants his title back. But at the same time, you really didn't have to have this last as long, and both these guys wrestle around the ring in their suits and all that. Mm-hmm. It was almost like that they were trying to fill time, Paul. And I don't know if that was really the case. Maybe they were really trying to prove a point. But, I mean, I think it could have been done shorter time and did the same effect, really. So, I don't know. I understand it, but I'm not sure I like it.
I think it's a fair assumption, right? I mean, they spent time on this because they wanted him to fight. They had to, they really wanted to put across that there wasn't going to really be a lot to stop them until it became too much, and then it got there. So, I doubt we'll see this on ROH TV, but we have a long time before we get to our next pay-per-view, usually from Best in the World, so maybe it'll be like a Death Before Dishonor main event or something like that.
Yeah.
But, I don't know. This was fine. Jay Briscoe gets some promo time. He talks about his match with Josh Woods tonight. Admires Josh's gumption, questions his intelligence, much like you and I did last week on the podcast, Gary. And then we get into the match, and I was really surprised, one, at really how much better I think Josh Woods has gotten since the last time we've seen him. But he is in there, of course, with Jay Briscoe, who's just an outstanding wrestler. And Josh gets a lot in. He feels very competitive in this, and Briscoe just sort of outlasts him and ends up destroying him with a lariat to get the victory. But I thought this was pretty good, honestly.
It was. was good, and for the fact that we didn't give him any credit, honestly, coming into this matchup, because we kind of thought, okay, he's challenging one of the better veterans in Ring of Honor. He's going to put it out there just so he can have a big match, and then let's go revisit Josh Goods and see, Josh, can you really do this? Isn't it? No. I think what they did here was really Josh Woods comes out of this looking pretty solid. He looks like he can compete with anybody on the Ring of Honor roster for the, at least compete. I didn't say win, I said compete. Mm-hmm. And so I think that that's a good thing for Josh. I really, really do. And I'm excited for him for that fact. And hey, I mean, this is awesome that Jay Briscoe gave him this opportunity and did this. And I was surprised. I mean, I don't remember this, but did they shake hands after this? I think it would have made sense if they would have, because I mean, Jay Briscoe's got to respect a guy that put that much offense on him.
I want to say they did, but I can't remember if they cut to commercial, because they let a lot of this match air without a commercial interrupting it, which I thought was kind of nice. So,
yeah,
I don't remember. I do know, however, after the match is over, they cut to a video package that highlights all the problems that Cheeseburger and Will Ferrara have been having. It seems like they're finally on the kaput, out and out, done skis, all that good stuff. So, probably see a match from them two in the near future. And then we get this next match. The Tempura Boys are going to take on Coast to Coast, but here come the Young Bucks. They want to defend the titles. They want it to be in this match, and they want to make it a tornado tag. Everybody agrees. Lots of flippies. I think the other two teams, the younger teams here, they get some spots in here and there, but this was pretty much all Young Bucks the entire way.
Yeah. I mean, and once they said it was for the titles, you kind of expected that, right? I mean, it's hard to believe that these other two young tag teams are going to get a lot of stuff going on when it's for the titles. I think that they really did a good job in the match, though. It was fun to watch. It was entertaining. It's a normal Young Bucks match. That's what you got here, and that's fine, and it worked, right? So it's a good spot for a TV taping. Good job on them. But other than that, really, it doesn't super build these young tag teams. It just kind of is something there.
Completely agree with you entirely. And then we get to our main event here. Fatal 4-way match. The winner gets a shot at the TV title down the road. Mark Briscoe, Kenny King, Beer City Bruiser, and Chris Sabin. Kenny King ends up winning this with the Royal Flush on the Beer City Bruiser. I thought this was a much better matchup all the way around. Lots of big spots. I don't think Kenny winning was a big surprise based on everybody in this match, but it's much appreciated. I think Kenny King and Kushida have themselves a damn good match down the road, too.
Yeah, I think Kenny King gets underestimated a lot, personally. Mm-hmm. I think people see him and they kind of think, oh, he's just one of the background guys. He's here, there, everywhere. I really do think that. So I'm right there with you. I think him and Kushida will have a pretty darn good match. I look at this match and really noticed a couple things. They really want to put Mark Briscoe in the where you're supposed to really favor him, right? You're supposed to be behind him because he's told his wife and all that he's going to have to win this, and all this kind of stuff. So they did a good job with that promo too. Mm-hmm. And, of course, having him in the match right there with the Beer City Bruiser, which he was the guy that really controlled quite a bit of this match.
He sure did.
And the Beer City Bruiser was clean in house at times, and which is good. I mean, once again, another guy that you're putting over at Ring of Honor. So I'm happy for the Beer City Bruiser and all that. But out of all this, Kenny King is the guy that wins. And that's, what you're going to remember at the end of the day. And I'm happy for him. He needs some good things going on for him.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I think with the split with the Rebellion, Kenny King certainly the one they're going to push the hardest out of all those guys for sure. He fits right into this TV title scene, too. He's such an athletic guy, too, so really looking forward to that matchup down the road for sure. But that covers it for Ring of Honor this week. Next week, Matt Taven and Ultimo Guerrero are going to go one-on-one, which I'm kind of looking forward to because they supposedly have had some good stuff going on in CMLL that I haven't seen enough of, unfortunately.
Yeah. Yeah, and, I've really been kind of curious more about that feud and all that takes place with that. So this will be fun. Next week's Ring of Honor will be a blast to watch, definitely. But yeah, that is pretty much our show, guys. Thanks a lot for joining us. I know we've had a lot of great content here. And if you want to find more great content, don't forget to come check us out next Friday morning on the download for you guys. It will be everything that's awesome. It's going to be, of course, don't forget, Lucha Underground, a part of that show, plus some more great news topics from this week. Also, we'll be talking a little bit more Slammiversary, some stuff added in. And plus a lot more great content that you don't want to miss.
Great Balls of Fire predictions.
Yep. Oh, yes, thank you. And that's going to be great. That's going to be a lot of fun. And once, again, I mentioned this on the Raw review, we'll be doing a post-show, post-Great Balls of Fire. That will be a lot of fun because Paul will be attending. So we'll have a live perspective and, of course, watching it on the network perspective that me and Sean will be doing. So come check that out, of course, Sunday night or, of course, Monday morning on your drive to work or maybe your jog. So also, don't forget to go check us out on W2Mnet.com. Also, 411mania.com. If you want to go find us on a regular basis and you haven't done it yet, go rate, subscribe, and, of course, review. And if the way to do that is go ahead and go subscribe at Wrestling to the Max or the W2M Network. Both will get you all our great content, and I'll give you everything that you'll ever want to know when it comes to what we have out there. So, but yeah, that's our show. Lots of great stuff. And can't wait to see you guys the rest of this week. Until then, if you're not living life to the max,
not living life at all.
You know it.
Ada.
Peace.
The following podcast is a W2M Network original production. Visit W2Mnet.com for all of our other great podcasts, plus news, reviews, articles, and opinions from the worlds of wrestling, video games, football, and entertainment.